Welcome to Subramani. It must have been in 1961 or 1962 that John Kennedy gave a call that man should be put on moon. So why did it take the NASA 6 years to put the man on moon, actually put the man on moon? The answer is very simple. They knew how to put the man on moon. They did not know how to bring him back. It was only in 1968 that they were sure about how to bring him back, that they put the man on moon. Why am I saying that here? Because I'm going to talk about climbing the retirement mountain and coming down. So retirement fund creation is in two parts. One is the accumulation part, where you are building up the corpus, and second is the bringing it out or withdrawing it when you have retired. Both these charts are not very easy, and most of the literature that you find is on accumulation, because in accumulation more people make money, whether it is the mutual fund house, your bank, or whether it is a life insurance company selling you a policy. Everybody loves the accumulation stage. Not too many people like the withdrawal stage, because that's the time when they're losing AUM, right? So let us talk about retirement as whether climbing a mountain or going on a trek, climbing or going on a run. How would you go about it? First of all, you would like to do it alone, or you would go with a group of friends. You will start off with a group of friends, but ultimately it is a lone process, right? If you are running a marathon, you realize that at the beginning of the race all friends are together, but unless you have planned it, not all of you will finish together. Some of you will finish together, some of you will be left behind, some of them may go ahead of you, right? So it doesn't really matter, because ultimately it's a sole journey that you have to make by yourself. So let us look at mountaineering. If you were to climb a mountain, what would you do? You would first of all gather all the equipment that is needed to climb the mountain. Good quality of shoes, and some stick, right, a walking stick, or whatever you want to call it, haversack, nice material that you need, and if it's a real long climb or a very high climb, then some oxygen tanks, right? You will be first of all putting together all the things which are required to go on that long climb. Similarly, you will, in case of retirement, you will consider all the things that are required. You will start off with this book, of course, thank you, and whether it's a pension plan, PPF, you will put to perhaps even before putting together all that, your internal call, right? You have to have a call in your head saying we have to go on this trek. If that internal call is missing, then it's very unlikely that you will go through with the trek. So somewhere when you're 21, 22, 23, you should get a call that I need to save money for my retirement. The earlier call is better, because the younger legs are better to climb a mountain. So let us say you've reached the base of the mountain and you now need to climb up. The worst thing is you see too many paths there. Now talking a little from the religion point of view, every religion says we are the best, and that's a good thing, because otherwise we will experiment with all religions and never climb up, right? So similarly, you will go and check every route but not finish the climb. So first of all, decide on which route to take. If there is somebody experienced along, that will be very helpful. But even if that person is not there, you have to take a decision and go on that path, and they have to have extremely strong rules as to why you will not change the path, right? So you will first chart out a path, you will make a plan. Maybe you have a map with you, right? You need that road map, right, to reach that destination of the mountain peak. So whether it is a retirement mountain, where again you need to put together, say maybe 10 crores of rupees or $2 million US, which is 16 crores of rupees as of now. Whatever it's required, you will first of all arrive at that number. So that is equipping yourself, saying how much is the number that I need to know. At 24, do you need to know the number? No. As long as you know it's more than 1 million US dollars or 2 million US dollars, you just have to put your head down and climb. You don't need to know the exact number. You will never be able to guess the exact number when you're 24. Even when you're 60, it's difficult to guess the exact number. Even at 70, it is difficult to guess the exact number because there are too many variables. But you know it's a big number and you need to make some effort to put it together. How much would you put? 10% of whatever you earn, 10% of the take home is supposed to be enough for your retirement. So that could be a good starting point. If you are starting off with an income of say 65,000 rupees per month or 55,000 rupees per month, 5,000 rupee SIP should be a good place to start. I am not saying it is sufficient, but that is the minimum that you should do for your retirement. This I am not talking of other goals like buying a house, car, or getting married. No, none of that. Just for your retirement, you should put together about 10% of your income. So here you are equipped with all the plans, the maps, the haversack, the shoes, etc. Now find out what is the temperature at which you're going to be climbing up, right? So if I'm running at say 9 degrees, then I may have to dress slightly differently from a run which is being done at 29 degrees, right? Though not really. I mean, I have run at 9 degrees with the same clothes as that of at 29 degrees, because as soon as you start running, the body warms up. So here you are at the bottom of the mountain, you are sitting with all the details, then you are charting out the road map. You already have an internal call saying that we must climb the mountain. Your friends are there with you. You know that at some stage you might be alone. When you invest in a good shoes, largely it is not because you love your feet, it is because you love your life. Right? When if you have done a mountain trek during monsoon, you realize what it means. Because a slight slip and you could break your leg, and that would be a better thing than, or you just slip and you fall 2,500 feet. That's it. After that, nothing will be heard about you. So these kind of things happen. So you carefully choose your shoes, you carefully choose your map, you carefully choose your guide, you carefully choose the walking stick, your glasses, your cap, your clothes needed when it gets very cold, and clothes needed when it gets very hot. Right? Everything happens in the mountain. It's very difficult for people who have not done it to believe that climbing the mountain can be so difficult. In fact, if you are living in a place like say Mumbai and you get wet during the rain, you think it's not a big deal, but try getting wet in the Himalayas when the temperatures are low and you get wet. It's a straight ticket to pneumonia, right? So you have to be very careful. So here we are talking about a difficult climb, maybe the Himalayan equivalent, and you have all your equipment, you're ready, you start climbing. You know that some stage it is going to be very lonely. So you sit and learn everything that is there to learn about retirement. What are the obstacles to your creating the corpus? Obviously it is early death, can be insured. Some illness, you can take critical illness insurance. Any handicap, you can take an insurance. Losing of job, you can get yourself well qualified so that you get another job, right? You plug all the mistakes that can happen, and therefore your corpus gets created. You don't sit down to say, oh, here how I am going to create the corpus. You first pick up the bucket and make sure that there are no holes, so that when the water is filled in the bucket, the water stays in the bucket, right? So it's important. So here you are climbing the mountain, you first reduce all the risk. Do you have enough equipment? Do you have a guide? Do you have a map? Have you charted it out? Now you remember, when you're climbing, the path is tough, the road is narrow, the road can be crooked, and you have to be very careful about your next step. One fall and it's all over, right? So while creating your retirement plan, it's very important to make sure that you don't make some major mistake like buying a very expensive pension plan which you may not need, right? So maybe mutual funds are enough. So don't buy any of those plans. Be very careful, read, because if you commit to something like a 20-year plan or a 30-year plan, I know one father and son combination where the father was a banker. Son was earning very well. They committed to a 50,000 rupee per month pension plan, which was completely useless from a return point of view, and compulsory withdrawal from a particular age, etc. And he said, oh, it's only 50,000 rupees per month. I said, do you even realize the power of compounding? 50,000 per month over 30 years is a few crores, not something small. It's not something which you can brush aside, right? And this happened 10 years ago. So it's not true that everybody will understand how to climb a mountain. So make sure that you have good guides, that you have you have a judge, you have a guide who's coming with you, you have the maps, you have the sticks, you have the good shoes, you have rain wear, you have winter wear, you have summer wear, right? Caps, hats, whatever, cover your ears. All these things are absolutely necessary for the mountain climb. Now, once you climb up the mountain, you will realize that you are now also going to find it difficult climbing down. It's not as though climbing down means you just run, right? Sometimes you think you can run, in some portions maybe you can run, but largely coming down is as difficult, if not more difficult, than while going up, because it's very scary. Especially if you're at 3,000, 4,000 feet, then it's really scary when you look down, and if there is snow, and if it is fresh snow, it's even more difficult. Or if it is hardened snow, it slips, and if it is fresh snow, your leg goes right in, right? So walking on that snow is very difficult. Even walking 2-3 kilometers is very difficult. So don't think it is going to be very easy coming down. You need to learn both. You need to learn how to build it, and you need to learn how to withdraw, right? So now we'll look at the withdrawal also. Climbing up the mountain, what are the impediments to building up a nice retirement portfolio or while climbing up? It's very tiring, right? It's very tiring, it's very boring. You know, it's a long journey, and there are a lot of distractions. Paying mortgages, paying children's fees, parents' hospitalization, buying a house, buying a car, vacations, all these are diversions. All these diversions take away a lot of your energy, and it's energy that you're trying to build, right? Where money is also a form of energy. So all those are the distractions. But let us say you have reached the peak of the mountain, which means you finished your accumulation stage. Now what? Now look down and you say, oh my God, now I have to start the whole journey back, right? I have to go back to where I started. Well, you have a look at how much money you have. You have a look at how much you know how much to withdraw. So similarly, you check your shoes, you check your stick, you check the equipment that you have, you check the food, and it's very important at that stage you check your oxygen, because in oxygen the thing is, if you're climbing a very important mountain, let's call it the Everest. If you're climbing the Everest, you are say 4 minutes away from Everest, and you have oxygen for 12 minutes or 13 minutes. You think is more than sufficient, may or may not be, because if that queue takes long, and it's a long queue I hear at the summit, if you take more than 5 minutes, you're in trouble. So at that stage you have to take a call. Is your oxygen enough for you to go and come back, or do you want to just go back alive? Because it's very tempting to having reached that position to say, okay, let me just finish it. But if you have run out of oxygen, you may not be able to finish it and come back alive. So yes, your 50 lakhs is gone, your effort is gone, etc., etc., but you have not gone to the summit. Retirement, unfortunately or fortunately, is not that bad. You just need to accumulate an X amount. You thought you should accumulate 8 crores. You have accumulated 7 crore 30 lakhs. That's fine. You can still start. It's not as though you have nothing. You will start. You do not know how long you're going to live. Maybe you'll work a little longer to make it 8 crores, because in your mind it is 8 crores which is important. Or you will spend less, right? So you will maybe eat once a day, which is anyway good for health, like what Buddha said. So the question is, what do you want to do with all that you've accumulated? Now is the time for you to get back. So now is the time when you're coming back. So while coming back, you have to be more careful. It can still be slippery. It can be raining. You have to wear your raincoat, right? So do all that is necessary for you to come down safely has to be done. So while going up, you found a lot of time for leisure. So maybe, but while coming down also you will need some rest. your leg will start paining, and the human body is very cruel. The human brain is very cruel. If you sit for some time, it will urge you to sit longer, but you have to be careful whether it is dark, whether it is the sunset is about to happen. So maybe you have to come down faster. Can you increase the pace? It looks very tempting, but it's not so easy. You have to protect your wrist, you have to protect your ankle, you have to protect your knee, right? You have to be careful about what you're doing. You need to come down fast, but not too fast. You have to come down, but you can't break your leg, right? So with all those conditions, you will come down. It's not an impossible journey, but you will learn about bucketing theory. You will learn about from which fund to withdraw when the markets are doing well, from which fund to withdraw when the markets are not doing well. You will learn all this on the way. You learned it on the way up, and you will learn it on the way down, and that's the way you work towards your retirement goal, right? You already accumulated, and you'll start withdrawing. You will learn about how to withdraw. It's not as though it's very intuitive and say, oh, I did an SIP, I accumulated, I will do an SWP, and I will deaccumulate it, right? No, it's not so simple. You may have to make separate buckets. If you go to my blog, which is subramani.com, you'll find the bucket theory. I've spoken about it also on video, but it may be easier for you to spot it in on my blog. Thank you.